And into the bucket we go. Well, look at that. No one died. Alright everybody, it's time for me to get on my soapbox today and address the elephant in the room, and that elephant we're going to talk about today is none other than the lights on our Algae Turf Scrubbers. Now, we've been getting a lot of comments and some critics talking about how our lights are dangerous, they're going to burn your house down, that they're no good because they're made in
China. I've been saying China.
So for all the critics, I have this to say to you.
5 letters here. RELAX. Relax.
And for those of you here to learn about our product, let's educate you on the very subject matter. So first things up is, what does the IP rating mean? Well, IP stands for Ingress Protection Marking. In layman's terms, this means the protection rating against solids and liquids. The first rating on there is protection against solid, and the second rating you'll see is protection against liquids, which we'll go over. So all our lights have a rating of 6 when it comes to solids, and this means that they are dust tight. And when it comes to something that's dust tight, that means we're addressing one of the biggest issues in our hobby, which is salt creep. Now, protection against salt creep is great, but what about water resistance? And that's the next rating we're going to talk about. Now, a rating of 1 or 2 just protects against dripping water, so you can pretty much call that splash proof. Rating of 3 and 4, we start getting more into spraying water or spray proof. A rating of 5, you start talking about jets of water, and once you start going up from there, you now start talking about submersion into water, and that's when things get really exciting. Now, our lights are rated a 5 or 6, which puts them at water jets and powerful water jets. But we're going to show you today that it's much more than that with the quality of lights that we sell. Now, it's important to point out that the IP code itself is an international standard that's been recognized all over the world. The tests are performed in approved facilities, and then once the test is done, the product is given their appropriate rating from there. So I'm going to actually show you now some actual video footage of an IP test itself. So what you're seeing here is the test being performed, and you can see that the light's actually on during this whole time. I know, it's crazy, but don't worry, it's going to get much better than that. Alright, next up is some sample footage from a factory worker who's actually plugging in a light and submerging the light fixture in water. So it's completely submerged, and you can see the light's functioning perfectly fine, there's no electrical shortages, and he unplugs this thing and no one's hurt. It's amazing. Now, we're actually going to submerge our own lights in water later on in this video, but before we get to that, let me walk you through the construction of our actual lights themselves. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that these lights are constructed of aluminum with heat sinks, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to take this light apart, and we're going to see what's inside and see what makes these lights so special, and show why we're going to be able to dunk these lights in water. And not only are we going to dunk them in water, but we're going to actually hold on to the light and have them on at the same time. Okay, so now we've taken the frame off, and what you'll see here is the light is completely sealed with silicone. Now, in order to take the lens off, we're going to need to actually cut off all the silicone from this unit. Well, it seems like this is actually tougher to open than anticipated, and we actually ended up breaking off our razor blade into the silicone. Look at that. Well, we're going to try this one more time. So we finally got the glass cover off, and you can see the silicone, which is double sealed, by the way. You can also see the driver in gray here that's completely sealed, which is great, but more importantly, what you want to see is where the wires come in from the outside. That's also completely sealed, tie wrapped with silicone. Okay, now let's turn this unit around and check out the nut on the back that holds the wires in. As we unscrew this, what you'll see is there's a sealed rubber grommet in here. This makes this light a complete and 100% waterproof unit. This is why we're actually going to be able to dunk this unit not only in water but in salt water. There are over 30,000 units of lights like this in service on our Algae Turf Scrubbers. Our records and results speak for themselves, and know that not all lights are created equal. Okay, one last thing I forgot to point out, but see these tracks inside these lights here where the seals are? Well, the silicone seal has the same grooves, and this makes any dust, salt creep, or liquid have to truly travel, pass through, over and under 2 sets of grooves among all the other levels of seals and protectants to actually penetrate this light. This is one exceptionally built unit, and this is the reason why it is safe to use in your aquarium. Okay, the moment's finally here. I've been hyping this up this entire video, but here we go. We're gonna dump this unit in salt water. Now, isn't that just beautiful? Look at this, it's sitting in a 5-gallon bucket of salt water, working just fine, plugged in, no shortages, absolutely fine. So hopefully this answers some questions you had about the lights in our units and how they work and how they function and how safe they are. So if you like this video, just go ahead and smash that like button. If you really like the content we provide here, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.